Let's talk about the essentials that an executive should know about South Africa's wine regions. When I say essentials, what I'm really referring to, especially executive essentials, are, among other things, four points. You should know what the grapes are for a given region. That's important. You should know the flavors and aromas that are associated with a given wine, or a given region. You should be able to understand how to pair that wine with food. So if you're ordering for clients or for colleagues, this is an important fluency level to have. And then finally, there are certain bottles that you should know, specific bottles or areas that you should recognize, bottles that are perhaps iconic or collectible or simply important. If we take this essentials discussion into South Africa specifically, I think there are a few points that are particular to South Africa. For starters, this is an area that's been challenged economically and commercially, and it was challenged by apartheid. And during that period, you saw a worldwide embargo on a lot of what South Africa had to offer. Now, when that dropped, that changed, and now you've seen a lot of progress in South Africa in wine, but it's recent. So you've seen a lot of uprooting of vines that were not doing so well. You've seen a lot of replanting of more commercial vines. So here, their whole industry is going through a bit of a shift. And then one of the last points I'd raise, and this is an interesting item that South Africa has really brought the wine world, and that's the grape called Pinotage. South Africa's wine production is really centered around Cape Town, in and around that area, down at the tip of South Africa. And here they put out different grapes, a lot of different grapes, international varietals, as they would be known. So international varietals are things like Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot. They had this unique grape called Pinotage, which I've mentioned. And when I look at their whites, the white that you would want to know for South Africa is Chenin Blanc. Now, Chenin Blanc is a grape that originates from the Loire Valley in France, where it is also known as Chenin Blanc. In South Africa, often that grape is called Steen. Many grapes have their roots in France somewhere. France is the birthplace of many important wines, Chenin Blanc included. And again, in South Africa, called Steen. For this discussion, we'll really center our discussion around Pinotage. And partly because I feel that this is something unique. It's unique to South Africa. When people talk about South Africa, often they may talk about this because it's a curiosity. And the Pinotage, as I mentioned, is a grape where at Stellenbosch University they combined Cinsault, one grape from the Rhone Valley, and Pinot Noir, and created a new grape. A bit of controversy around this grape because the quality is variable, and I've experienced that. I've experienced that the quality can be pretty variable, and it doesn't taste like Pinot Noir, and it doesn't taste like a Rhone wine. You'll pick up perhaps tropical fruit, cherry, plum, and it's a bit smoky and earthy as well at the same time. So a very interesting mix. In terms of pairing a Pinotage with food, here I would think pulled pork, I would think chili, I would think pizza. I would try to not. I don't think this is a wine that I would put with my most. It's not such a robust red. I wouldn't put it up against steak really, but things like chili or less serious foods perhaps. Aged cheeses, spicy food also could be an interesting match with Pinotage. In terms of the areas or the bottles to know, here I would just know that this region in particular, Stellenbosch. There are two areas in South Africa that are known a bit more than others, Stellenbosch and Paarl. And Stellenbosch University is actually where this grape was created. So if you were to remember one area or sub-area in particular, or look for that on the bottle, that's perhaps the advice that I would give. Perhaps look for Stellenbosch. So to summarize, South Africa is an area that's had some real challenges because of the embargoes imposed during apartheid. Since then, it's been going through a lot of progress with respect to its vinifera, its international varietals. Cabernet Sauvignon is growing in quality in South Africa. Other wines, and Merlot. They also grow that interesting grape, the white grape Chenin Blanc, which is locally known as Steen. We didn't talk as much about whites, but it is there. But then finally, I would really remember Pinotage. Here they've made a name for themselves. It's not really growing in quantity in other places in the world, perhaps here and there, but it's associated with South Africa. Interesting and something for you to try.